Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janaballabha Giridvaradari. Gopi Janaballabha Giridvaradari. Suranandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayam Shabam Sabadajikachaya Astateta Sacha Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Shabam Sabadajikachaya Astateta Sacha Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Gaur Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 2. Daksha curses Lord Shiva. Text 23. Budhya parabhijayanya Visrim tatma gati pashu Strikama sostratitaram Daksho basta mukho chirat Budhya parabhiyanya Visrim tatma gati pashu Strikama sostratitaram Dokshobasta Mukocharat Buddhya Pada Vijayanya Vismintatma Gati Pashu Strikama Sosta Tutaram Dokshobasta Mukocharat Buddhya by intelligence. Pada abhijyainya by accepting the body as a self. Vismrit, how do you do that? Vismrita atmagati, having forgotten the knowledge of Vishnu. Pashu, an animal. Strikama, attached to sex life. Sa, he, Daksha. Astu, let. Atitaram, excessive. Daksha, Basta mukha, the face of a goat. Achirat, in a very short time. Translation. Daksha has accepted the body as all in all. Therefore, since he has forgotten the Vishnu Pada, or Vishnu Gati, and is attached to sex life only, within a short time he will have the face of a goat. 624. Those who have become as dull as matter by cultivating materialistic education and intelligence are nesciently involved in fruitive activities. Such men have purposely insulted Lord Shiva. May they continue in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Purport. The 3 curses mentioned above are sufficient to make one as dull as stone, void of spiritual knowledge, and preoccupied with materialistic education, which is nescience. After uttering these curses, Nandiswara then cursed the Brahmanas to continue in the cycle of birth and death because of their supporting Daksha in blaspheming Lord Shiva. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Kadara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. As we spoke a little yesterday about the problematic nature of material existence, you see that in this ongoing drama with Lord Shiva Daksha, Sati, and their associates. This section of Bhagavatam makes you wonder, how can you strive for permanent peace within material existence if even amongst such extraordinary personalities there are such problems? This complicated situation and disastrous situation takes up several chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam. Cursing may sound like something exotic and something done in third world countries, Haiti or Africa. But when personalities have power, tejas, they're able to do such things. Of course, in the age of Kali, such powers are greatly reduced. Still, during Chaitanya Leela, you can hear about curses happening. There was a Brahmana, by external symptoms only, who wanted entrance into Lord Chaitanya's confidential kirtans held at Srivasangan, the house of Srivastaka. Lord Chaitanya was very careful that no one other than pure devotees could be present. Even one of his associates made the mistake of allowing one person who was known to be very austere, only drank milk, allowed him to quietly be present during the kirtan. But Lord Chaitanya noticed, there's someone here who shouldn't be here. And then his associate explained to him, oh, we've invited a very saintly person. He only drinks milk. He's very austere. Lord Chaitanya responded, out he goes. If we could attain Krishna just by drinking milk only. How glorious that would be. But you cannot attain Krishna simply by fasting on milk only. Another Brahmana by external symptoms only, because this is Navadvip. And at the time, Navadvip was a chakra, a center for logic and all the external Vedic trappings. Logic and jnana, all kinds of speculation. So there were Brahmanas who were very adept in all the external characteristics, but they knew nothing about Krishna Bhakti. So one of those Brahmanas was angry. Why can't I come to that kirtan? I want to see it. But he was refused entrance. The next time he saw Lord Chaitanya on the streets of Navadvip, he decided to curse Mahaprabhu. And as Brahmanas would do, he took out his Brahman's thread, and as he uttered the curse, he broke the thread, and he cursed Lord Chaitanya. I curse you. You will never enjoy material happiness. Lord Chaitanya began to dance in ecstasy. How great is this? What would we do in those circumstances? We were cursed. Never enjoy material happiness. We'd be devastated. But Mahaprabhu, eternally situated in pure devotion to Krishna, thought this is the greatest thing. I will not be touched by that illusory concoction known as material happiness. So here you can see the peak potential of bhakti. This is what we're working toward. This discrimination between happiness and distress is indeed a mental concoction. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur compares our situation to being thrown into a salt mine. In a salt mine, everywhere you stick your tongue out, it's going to be salty. But in your mind, you concoct. This is good salt. This is bad salt. It's all salty. So here you can see the creative powers of the material intelligence. As the verse says, those who have become as dull as matter by cultivating materialistic education and intelligence are nesciently involved in fruitive activities. To be nesciently involved in fruitive activities means you absorb your whole life in trying to pursue happiness and battle off distress, and that's considered life. In this way, the true potential of your life becomes wasted. One may think, how would I ever attain such a platform that I can look down at material happiness? What's wrong with wanting to be happy? This is why the program of devotional service is so necessary. It introduces you to levels of experience that are beyond human speculation. Just a simple devotional service like mopping the floor, washing pots, introduces you to dimensions that are far beyond the perceptive powers of those dulled by matter. This is why bhakti is a mystery. And remember, Krishna doesn't easily give out bhakti. But, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he breaks his rules. The norm is described in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakangshati Samat Sarveshu Bhuteshu Bhaktim Labate. The preliminary stage, that platform by which you can step onto bhakti, is the Brahma Bhuta platform. Understanding your spirit soul, therefore you're joyful, you're not upset by material conditions. You're not lamenting, you're not hankering. You see all living entities as equal. From that platform, if you have the association of devotees, you can begin devotional service. But who has that qualification in this age of Kali? Yet, you see Krishna Bhakti springing up everywhere. That is because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has broken Krishna's own rules about the distribution of bhakti. So, in other words, we have a chance to experience that realm which is normally a secret. It's a secret because by devotional service, as you know, Krishna can be conquered. How is it that Krishna can receive unlimited presentations from unlimited Brahmas in unlimited universes and still not materially increase? And in the converse, Krishna can give himself to countless devotees and still not materially decrease. Only a Krishna Bhakta can understand these things and experience these things. So at first it seems like it's so far away, this goal of rising above material happiness and distress. Actually, Mayavadis if they're very austere and very strictly follow the Vedic lifestyle, they can get beyond material happiness and distress. But as Bhagavatam explains, their perch is temporary. Without attachment to Krishna, there can be no complete success to our stay in the material world. I was speaking last night to one young Indian man who was trying to impress upon me. Nirgun Brahma. That, yes, I was a young guy in his 20s. Nirguna Brahman. Isn't that the ultimate? I said, what about all the varieties? He said, he thought, but they're all false. They're all an illusion. I said, okay, assuming that there is just the unadulterated oneness, the homogeneous oneness, and assuming that any variety is an illusion, how did that illusion spring from that pure oneness? He thought, it's just an illusion, though. But still, how did the illusion of variety? We'll temporarily agree with you that the variety is an illusion completely, but how did that happen? How did your individuality, whether illusion or not, how did it spring from the pure oneness? Because he kept bringing up to me, the oneness is the ultimate, the pure oneness. So I said, do you accept Bhagavad Gita? Oh, yes, yes. Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the basis of that all-pervading oneness. What do you say about that? Oh, I have to think about that. I've even met sometimes Westerners who have been trained in Shankaracharya's approach since birth. There's a outfit that's in many countries of the world called the School of Philosophy. I don't know, do they have it in the USA? It's in the UK, Australia, New Zealand. They call themselves the School of Philosophy, and they do outreach by offering courses in classic philosophy, but underneath it all is Mayavad. And they have their own schools. They teach their children Sanskrit from the age of 5. So I met one young lady who had grown up in that system. She was 19. So she came to one of my seminars. And you can imagine, she had been learning Sanskrit since the age of 5. These are Westerners, and steeped in the complications of Shankaracharya's philosophy. So I had her stay after the seminar ended, and I told her, what do you think about this? I took out Bhagavad Gita as it is, and went to the section, the Tvevaham Jatu Nasham Natam. Never was there a time when we were not individuals. Never will there be such a time. So I had her read the verse and purport out loud. And as you may remember, Prabhupada's purport is very lengthy and very impactful in just knocking away the Mayavad conceptions. Here you have Krishna speaking about the eternality of the soul. How can you think he's talking about the eternality of the body when he's already said you're not the body? He's already chastised Arjuna. On and on he goes like that, quoting from the Upanishads. So I had this girl read it. And as she was reading this long purport, she was shaking. Because it was just sterilizing everything that she held so dear since childhood. She actually began to shake, and finally she couldn't finish reading. She couldn't finish the purport. I felt sorry for her, because what is her ultimate aspiration beyond happiness and distress? She's smart enough, she's been schooled since 5 years old, that material happiness and distress are an illusion. But then what is that taste she's supposed to get before that? Or, excuse me, what is the taste she's supposed to get beyond that? So this is why the bhakti yoga process is so unique, in that we are not just becoming stoics and tolerating material distress and trying to ignore material happiness. We are engaged in Krishna's service. Another example of someone cursed. Chitraketu, the famous example in the 6th canto. He had personally talked with the Supreme Personality Godhead, and he had the perfection of mystic powers. He was flying around in a Vimana spacecraft with Vidyadhara women, most beautiful women, but he was simply having Sankirtan in their association, glorifying Krishna. He saw, as he was flying through space, he saw Lord Shiva in the assembly of sages, but Lord Shiva had his wife on his lap and was embracing her. So Chitraketu, as you know, made a laughing comment, which Lord Shiva's wife took very seriously. Try to understand Chitraketu's mentality. He had no doubts about Lord Shiva. He's not like Daksha. That's an important point. Daksha totally vilified Lord Shiva, totally condemned him, even disrespected his own father. Why did you tell me that I should accept Shiva as the husband of my daughter? He wouldn't even refer to Brahma, as we said yesterday. He wouldn't refer to Brahma as his father. He said, the controller. He said such horrible things about Lord Shiva. But that wasn't Chitraketu. Chitraketu had no doubts about Lord Shiva's exalted position. He verbally asserted Lord Shiva's inconceivable nature. But the acharyas point out, Chitraketu was a little concerned. If ordinary persons see this, they may become a bit bewildered. And then, of course, the example of someone like Daksha would add credence to Chitraketu's concerns. Daksha couldn't understand Lord Shiva at all. And he made so many offenses. So this is what Chitraketu had in mind. He had no doubts about Lord Shiva, but what about others? What a great man does, common persons will follow. So in that spirit, he made his joking remark. But Parvati, Lord Shiva's wife, cursed him. Lord Shiva didn't take it seriously at all, as you know. In fact, Lord Shiva, the acharyas point out, was thinking, Chitraketu's laughing at me because I got my wife on my lap. Look at him with all those girls in the spacecraft. Who's he to talk? But it was all in a light mood. But you're saying, all right, it's a light mood, but look, the Lord Shiva's wife just cursed him to be a demon. What's going on here? Behind it all is the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's also difficult to understand. You would question that. It's hard for you to accept that an exalted devotee like Chitraketu gets cursed to be a demon, have a body of a demon, more precisely. But it's even harder to understand, why would the Supreme Personality of Godhead allow this? What was the motive of the Supreme Personality of God? To bring Chitraketu back to Godhead quickly, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead missed Chitraketu's association. Say, wait a minute. Just because someone misses someone, they put you through an ordeal so that you come back home quicker? Isn't there another way that we can go back to Godhead? We have difficulty understanding this because we're attached to material conditions. We have a tinge of what you call in the USA prosperity religion in us. That worship God, and then you should have good health, good wealth. In fact, prosperity preachers take it to an extreme. That wealth and health are symptoms of a godly life. They preach things like to huge auditoriums of persons. Even sports arenas. Some of their churches are as big as sports arenas. Jesus was no poor man. This is not a church. This is a multinational corporation. One of my favorites. His name even reflects his stance. He's in Atlanta, Georgia. He's one of the most powerful prosperity preachers in the USA. His name is Creflo Dollar. That's his name. That's actually his name. So we laugh at that kind of stuff. Even my mother, very educated lady, but she told me that when I was 2 years old and I was sick, she's desperate, what to do. My firstborn is sick. She was listening to some radio evangelist. This is before TV became big. Oral Roberts. And he would say, put your hand on the radio. Feel the healing power. And she did it. Put her hand on anything to heal my boy, my baby. Put your hand on the radio. I'll pray for you. You'll feel the healing power coming through the radio. So we laugh at that, but let us see how we may have a little streak of prosperity religion in us that makes it difficult for us to understand. Why did Krishna allow Chitraketu to go through the situation of being cursed and have the body of Vitrastra just so he could quickly come back to Godhead? Just so he could quickly come back to Godhead. Of course, we accept the goal of going back to Godhead, but the methodology? Shouldn't we enjoy material things and then go back to God? So this causes us to think, what are we all about? And of course, you know that in Chitraketu's next birth as the demon Vitrastra, destined to be killed by Indra, when the actual battle with Indra came about, Vitrastra was urging Indra, come on and kill me, come on. Make it happen, hurry up, because you will win this battle and stay in the material world and enjoy, and I will lose the battle, but I'll go back to Godhead. So come on, take your thunderbolt out. Indra even dropped his thunderbolt in battle, and Vitrastra told him, hey, pick it up, come on. Don't be disheartened, come on. I want to go back to Godhead. Who can understand this from a material point of view? Bhagavatam is forcing us to reevaluate our conceptions of success and happiness and well-being. And then again, you have to think, how can you have genuine well-being within a material body, within the material world? It's a hard lesson for us to learn. When was I think it was at the Mantra House in Los Angeles. I dared to give my list of the most challenging places to be Krishna conscious. Most challenging places in the world, based on my travels around the world and what I've observed. And I gave first, I explained that it doesn't mean you're living in an impossible situation to be Krishna conscious, but there are certain areas which they're nice, balmy, apparently more conducive for sensual activity. So the audience was very interested. Can you give us the list? So I said, I'll tell you the top 4. Number 4, Southern California. Oh, really? We're number 4? Well, what are the other 3 places? Number 3 is the east coast of Australia. And there were some persons in the audience, some Gurukulis who had been to the east coast of Australia, and they testified, oh yeah, definitely east coast of Australia, with towns, beach towns with names like Surfer's Paradise, the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast. But that's number 3. Number 2, Rio de Janeiro. Oh, so sensuous. And then number 1, everyone knows number 1. Prabhupada said there's one place on earth that's heaven, it's Hawaii. Is it still going on? How do we be Krishna conscious in good times when there's prosperity? We're tested when upheavals happen, distress comes, which will, just as sure as material happiness comes, material distress comes. It's very essential that we have a solid program of devotional service so that we can get a taste of a realm beyond the comings and goings of happiness and distress. Chittiketu was like that. He was not affected by his luxuries and heavenly opulences. Therefore, when he was cursed by Parvati, he graciously accepted it. Thank you, Mother. Whatever you say. What about Pritchett Maharaj in the first canto Bhagavatam? Cursed to die in 7 days. He could have repudiated the curse. But he accepted it as Krishna's mechanism for taking him back to Godhead. His conclusion was, I've been cursed to die by the bite of the snake bird. Let it happen. Let whatever this little Brahmana boy has cursed, let it happen to me. My point is, I only want to go on hearing the glories of Krishna. So we're following in those footsteps. This is the goal of our lifetime bhakti development. As we engage in devotional service, we start to taste that reality. It seems so mythological to us. Like when Pritchett Maharaj says, let the snake bird bite, I don't care. I just want to go on hearing the glories of Krishna. It's inspirational for us, but we should understand it's also possible to taste that. And this is our real asset in life. This is our real wealth. So amidst all this cursing and counter-cursing going on, Lord Shiva is transcendental to it all. on the one hand, you can't blame Nandishwar for retaliating like this, because he's a supporter of Lord Shiva, and he cannot tolerate Lord Shiva being blasphemed. Still, it's a complicated situation in that Nandishwar is cursing Brahmanas, which he shouldn't do. And now the Brahmanas are going to lose it. And you'll hear in the coming days, the Brahmanas are going to curse back. And this way, the whole situation becomes a brawl. A brawl on a most elevated level, but still a brawl. So, indeed, it makes you wonder, what is the point of this world? And Sati has killed herself. Lord Shiva's wife. So all this havoc is happening. This makes you lose attraction for material existence when you hear about such catastrophes. Just like in the 11th canto, the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty. Krishna removed his personal dynasty in such a way that makes you wonder, what's the point of this world? The greatest personalities, Krishna's entourage, and look, they fought and killed one another. Jiva Goswami explains that this is Krishna's way of devaluing the material world. It makes you think, well, if that would happen to the Yadus, what about me? And so hearing about the Moshala Leela, the annihilation of the Yadu dynasty, makes you think twice, thrice, what's going on here? What's the nature of this world? If this happens to them, what about me? And so you slacken your grip on material existence. And that is a very important occurrence. You don't minimize that phenomenon of your grip on material existence slackening. It's a great achievement. Especially since our grip on material existence slackening is always combined with the increase of the grip on Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. We're not negativists. Bhakti is simultaneous attachment and detachment. Right. Any questions? Yes, comments?
I have several questions. But you can have it one is, I'll see you do it. You know, as you started, and you've given good answers, but just to note it a little bit more, you started off with the premise, you know, we see these big devotees falling down, what's our hope? So sometimes people feel like that. I mean, you know, if, well, even in our own world, this guy was, I don't want to mention whatever, you know, so-and-so fell down, this fell down. Why should I even struggle? I might just toss in the towel now. Look what happened to them. So if it happened to positives, well, look what happened to them. So I just expect I'm going to get picked up. I might as well enjoy it while I can. So that's question one. And then question two is, you were talking about how this, you know, routing out the prosperity idea. Well, I'll just give you my example. I am looking back. My marriage grew up in my tradition was extremely painful. Looking back now, it was at the time I was a Christian. What are you doing? I can now see it was clearly Christian mercy. I'm grateful that I am where I am. I mean, the kids okay, right? They all look like that. And anyway, here I am. So, looking back, I'm glad it happened. I can clearly understand Christian mercy on me. But at the time, it was a real fate chaser. So I'm wondering if, how do we have that confidence? How do we have that long vision? How do we weather that storm? Okay. Those are my two questions.
Yeah. The first one again was...
The first one was, you know, we see convicted always.
Oh, yes.
What's my hope?
We also see examples of so-called little devotees living a glorious life in bhakti. I'm thinking of the recent departure of our dear godbrother Yamaraj Prabhu, who was so steady in his service. For how many years he did that service? 45 years doing one service. He's a quiet devotee, so unassuming. All his life, since the time he became a devotee in the early 70s, all his life serving Krishna. Those are the real successes. Or what about the famous, now famous, Jayananda Prabhu? He didn't have any titles. He didn't have any nomenclature. Yet, by his example, he's inspired so many devotees. So, dealing with the material energy means a battle, and there'll be casualties. You have to get used to that. I know when I first became a devotee in Brooklyn, New York, and I got the first news that someone had left Krishna consciousness, I was bewildered. Not that I was shaken for myself, but I was thinking, how could anyone leave? How does this happen? I remember at the BBT, you must remember, there was a devotee named Gaurian. Yeah, and so here I was a new bhakta. I was, he was initiated Brahmana, working at the BBT, and then one day he was gone. And then one morning he was gone, right? So that was the first time I began to think, what's going on here? So, it is a fact. Persons will come and persons will go. And what is quite devastating is if one of your personal associates does that. So we have to be practical. As Prabhupada said, we're not utopians. We're not dreamers. Persons will come and persons will go. It doesn't have to be like that. At the same time, the acharyas are very pragmatic. As Prabhupada himself said, Chakra Asutarma, Charanam Bhujam Hare. They come, they perform devotional service, and they may fall victim again to Maya. Still, they're better off. And he said, I'm doing this on the authority of Narada Muni, who said, even if they come and fall down, it's better that they came and did some service. So this is the tough reality about bhakti. Swalpamapis dharmasya trayate mahatovi. Just a little bit of advancement is their eternal credit. So the acharyas, they understand. And by hearing from them, we should understand. Yes, persons will come and go. Just make sure you don't go. But even if they go, still, their life is much better off. Sometimes I wonder, Prabhupada initiated, 5,000 disciples? Yeah, and how many are active today? These are the realities of practicing bhakti within the material world. And we need to understand the situation philosophically through the lens of Srimad Bhagavatam. Remember, we're doing this on the authority of Narada Muni. That was Prabhupada's stance. Better they come and go than not come at all. Yes. And the second question is?
I think you've actually covered both. I can ask you to give a list again.
Yes.
When you think about what occurs here, you're drawing like a prediction. Usually it's not a usually head. How is it really substantially different from just being in the material world? In one sense, we're all condemned.
Yes, you've highlighted an essential but apparently difficult part of bhakti. How to utilize even distress and setbacks in Krishna's service. And we really need help to do that, because we're so addicted to just prosperity and material happiness in the name of bhakti, that when the inevitable setbacks and tough times come, the first tendency is to get angry. Why me? Look at all the service I've done. Why should this happen? Why did God let this happen to me? We need help. Help in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, and help from the association of devotees. Srila Prabhupada once said that anything can be tolerated in good association. I always remember that. Anything. So strive to surround yourself with good association, and you can handle the inevitable ups and downs that come because we're in the material world and material bodies. This is why the association of devotees is so important. But if you are on your own, isolated, you can't handle all this. All these setbacks, all these catastrophes. But the perfection is what Kunti Devi said. Let these catastrophes happen again and again. I want Krishna. If catastrophes bring about Krishna's presence more, I don't call them catastrophes. I embrace them. How would we ever attain such realization? We can get a glimpse of it, a taste of it, in the association of devotees. This is why, one of the reasons why association of devotees is so important. One last point. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that if you give up the association of devotees, you lose the ability to discriminate between material and spiritual affairs. And you can see that happening all the time. Someone drops their bhakti practices, stops associating with devotees, and suddenly, especially here in California, everything is kind of spiritual. My home is a temple. Yes, 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 yes. That's what bhakti is all about, just loving everyone and everything. Mm. Yes. It's like, because we think that generally, if we're going to fall down, we're just going to one day snap and just dive deep. Right. We'll just dive deep into it. But often it's like, what is it when you put a frog in hot water and slowly turn up the temperature?
So they say you won't jump off because the climate.
Yes, yes. Yes, that's what happens. Your worldview shifts. You become corroded by the modes of material nature. And you actually lose track of how you were before and what you are now. And everything just seems normal. You're coded. You're covered over. And this is why often it's very difficult to try to help such persons, because I don't chant Hare Krishna anymore. I don't chant my rounds, but I'm okay. I feel okay. And they actually, they feel that way. I'm okay. Nothing's happened bad. No lightning bolts hit me. Yeah, I'm engaged in a few affairs, a few illicit affairs, but, it's part of life, It's part of relationships. As the CNN interviewer was telling us all in New Dorka a few days ago. What is this about restrictions, you know? I mean, you know, just intimacy is just life, you know? It's part of exchanges, you know? So gradually, you start thinking like that. It's just all about love and being sensitive. Being caring. And it's like, yes. And so gradually that starts to feel natural. It seems so obvious. And you don't feel bad about yourself, and you associate with persons who feel the same way, and that reinforces the whole mentality. So this is why the association of dedicated devotees is so important. Without that, our vision will change, our conceptions will change. Please remember that. Let me remember that also. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.